The views and opinions expressed by the host and the guests are solely their individual opinions and does not reflect the opinions of the Cannabis Network. Viewers be advised.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll keep writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them.
I'm coming. Here we go. Welcome to Yo Rants Oversized Load. I'm your host, Yo, the Herbal Trucker, steering you through some of the most intriguing conversations about things that matter to you and our community. This show is more than just a platform. It's your stage to voice what you're passionate about. We're here to shine a light on things that have been overlooked and the unspoken, bringing focus on to topics that need it the most. Remember, this journey just isn't about us sharing our thoughts. It's about your involvement, listening, engaging, and sparking change. We aim to enlighten, inspire, and encourage everyone to make a positive impact. So, there's something here for you. Get ready for an engaging and enlightening ride. You're on board Yo Rants Oversized Load. Let's embark on this journey together. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Cannabis Network on YouTube and all social media platforms. Stay connected and join the conversation by following me at Herbal Trucker and at Yo Rants 101 on Instagram and other social media platforms. Whew, we got that out the way. All right. So now, for today on Yo Rants Oversized Load, we're delving into a pressing issue that has been stirring up discussion here in Atlanta. Our focus is on the underground and legacy cannabis events. Recently, these gatherings have been in the spotlight due to concerning reports. It's a topic that demands our attention and understanding. Now, to offer an insider's perspective and shed more light on this situation is my special guest. We've got Stanley Atkins II with us today, better known as the Cannimedic or the Good Medic, an impactful figure in the cannabis advocacy. He's here to share. Let me bring him on up. To share his passion and vast knowledge. Welcome aboard, Stanley.
Hey, what's going on, Yolanda? Shout out to Yolanda, the Herbal Trucker, Cannabis Network, Stanley Atkins II here, also known as the Cannimedic. And you're right, this is a discussion that needs to be had in the advocacy community. As a cannabis advocate, here in Georgia, as you stated in your opening, this is something that's near and dear to a lot of our hearts. And a lot of hard work goes into cannabis advocacy, legislation, and reform. But it also has another side of the spectrum, what we're going to be talking about today. So definitely thank you for bringing me on, and we're going to have a great convo.
Yeah, I'm glad you came on today because, like I say, this is something that I'm like, we actually just started going out there into some of these events. I mean, they're festive, you can enjoy them. And I'm just like, wow, this is wonderful if it was legal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, okay.
It's interesting, and it's funny because for a lot of people who don't know what type of events we're talking about, they don't even know if this is going over the heads of some of our viewers. There is an underground market with every industry. So where there's an industry where people sell purses, there's a knockoff industry where people have markets where they sell the same things. The same thing happens with cannabis. No different than a bootlegger on Sunday in a dry county. There is a lot of events that go down, or a lot of events that are held that sometimes at some of these events, some of those vendors may have hemp, CBD products, things of that nature, Delta 8. But then there's also some vendors that, completely have things that would, as you said, would be nice in a legal market. But unfortunately, we're not in a legal market. And with those type of events, no matter how safe you try to be or how positive they try to influence the event, we're still dealing with the black market, so, and it's unregulated.
Yeah, and that is very dangerous, not just for the consumer, but the attendees, the areas around, and also it could cause a stir as far as what they are coming about with now with the different training for the officers and stuff, that special training to identify intoxication of cannabis or THC, which for me, I'm thinking that's like subjective because I could look like I'm high, but I might have allergies. I have a cold or something, and I suffer from papilledema. And with papilledema, sometimes, bright lights and some other things may, bother me. So I'm just like, that's just my issue. And anyway, yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's a multi-tier conversation. When people
yeah,
ask, "What are we doing?" there are no simple solutions to complex problems. So to kind of paint viewers a picture of how we're talking about this. So imagine, going to an event, and it's like you're in a dispensary flea market. You
mm,
have vendors that have copious amounts of presumably THC products. We've seen events that people have even expanded outside of that to include even more products that aren't even cannabis related. I've seen, if you name it, I've seen it on the table for sale, from LSD to other things, and it's like, whoa, you walk into an event, you don't know, you see a festival or something online. Oh man, this looks fun. I see some companies that I support. Cool, I'm gonna go check it out. And you go in there and you looking at these vending tables and you're like, oh, because I've taken somebody with me to an event. I thought it was just a festival. And we get there and this person is just looking like, oh my God. They're like, where are we? I'm like, I thought this was a music festival. Every vendor, you know what I mean? And they were like, it was late at night and they were just like, how is this even legal? I'm like, it is not. But she was like, so we're going to get into it tonight. This is a conversation that needs to be had. It's a lot of things going back and forth in the community, in the industry, and different rooms, different conversations being had. But these conversations got to be had together.
yeah,
We all come to this for a common purpose. And so I know, you had questions for me, and that's why we brought it on today, because you
yeah,
wanted to, tap in with somebody who's been doing it. Tap into somebody who's not only on the advocacy side, the legislative side, and things of that nature, but I'm plugged into the streets. I know what's going on.
yeah,
As we say in the
yeah.
South, I'm outside.
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, we step outside, we tiptoe outside just a little bit, because we might tip out and look around and like, oh, okay, yeah, just not used to actually going out there because we've been basically patients, and since we've been getting better, we wanted to just experience some of the different events, and they've been wonderful, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got some questions for you. I'm just pulling them up now because I know how my memory is, and you know how that ADHD
Oh,
might kick
take
in.
take your time, because
Yeah,
hopefully,
so
those
uh
people cannot make it tonight will tune in at a later time at their convenience. As
yeah,
you said, listen on the other platform. If you're driving, just listen in, because we ain't just give you this information for us tonight. This is
yeah,
this is a matter of public safety. I
yeah,
care.
yeah. The Cannimedic cares. I mean, they need to. Who can make us? Oh, I'm not gonna start singing this. The Cannimedic can. Okay, with the decriminalization of cannabis, how has this affected the legacy market? I mean, I know we just talked about that it's not being legal. A lot of people don't know what is decrimmed and what is legal? Because according to a lot of posts and stuff, it looks legal to me.
Yeah, so unfortunately, decrim and legalization often get confused. So I'm going to paint a quick picture. With a legalization or adult use, as we call it, that means that persons over a certain age, so we'll take, for instance, your average legal state like Nevada or something of that nature, any person with ID that is legal, that is 21 years of age, can go into a dispensary, make purchases. You can go try some new stuff, get some edibles, whatever you want to try. In a decriminalized market, which is what we call decrim, that means marijuana possession up to a certain amount is no longer a criminal offense, which means, we'll take for instance the city of Atlanta. I had the honor and the privilege of working, assisting with that decrim. And so what that means is if you're in the municipal city of Atlanta, incorporated city of Atlanta, and you're in possession of 1 ounce or less, then you, instead of being in jail and getting arrested, they'll just give you a ticket and you pay a fine of $75. It doesn't go on your license, anything of that nature. I mean, go on your record, similar to like a jaywalking ticket. Well, that's different than legalization, because with decriminalization, that does not mean that it's legal. It doesn't mean that it's illegal. They have just relinquished punitive, penalties for possessing it. So, but if you have over that amount, now let's just say you're in an area of Georgia that is decrimmed. You're hanging out, something happens, or you've been drinking, you're driving, there's an accident. That doesn't mean you still can't be arrested for additional infractions. So, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, driving a stolen car. If you get pulled over driving a stolen car, you're gonna get the weed charge along with that. But if it's just the marijuana, if it's under 28 grams, you're not going to jail. Often it's up to the officer's discretion. You've spoken with law enforcement. I've spoken with law enforcement, and most of them, they don't even want to arrest you for it. They don't want to do the report, take you down, do the booking. They're trying to get fentanyl off the streets. So just because it's decriminalized does not mean it's been legalized. But unfortunately, people who don't know, or they just see articles every time there's a bill proposed that says, legalization in Georgia or federal legalization, people start screenshotting and posting, hey man, it just went legal. No, it's not. So it is still illegal at the state level. It is still illegal federally. And what people need to know, believe, and understand is that the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia are two different places. They operate under two different sets of rules. They have two different ways they go about things. If you look at the populace and the demographic of the city of Atlanta, compared it to the rest of the state, it's a little different. So just because you can do something in Atlanta don't mean it's legal statewide.
And with that being said, with the decriminalization, I'm wondering about, I actually had a question. Like I said, the ADHD kicked in and I was like, oh my God, will I be able to remember this question? But with this legacy market and the decrim, do you think that it's going to really go back with all these different reports? I know with all these different news articles and stuff that are on the news right now, and over the past years with the different drug busts, because they put like this major title there, like marijuana bust. I can just read a few of those right there. Let's see, man shot in Atlanta for not selling weed to the police. Man shot trying to buy marijuana in Atlanta apartment complex. Just like this right here, it's like, it seems like they're trying to set the stage for something bigger. I know we've heard about the gentrification of Atlanta and what's coming in. And I'm just wondering, do you feel that parties of this such could actually, like the ones that are against cannabis, could actually just use some of these articles to, enforce reversing decriminalization?
Yes. although these events might be fun, people might be making money at these events unfortunately hurt our overall advocacy cause and purpose. Not all of them, but we're talking about the most nefarious of these events, the events that aren't even safe to attend in many cases. I've been down to the state capitol. You've been down there. I have been down there to listen to legislators talk about laws that they're proposing, or like the decrim. They're going to have all the people who are against it speaking out, paid lobbyists from other states. They're going to be like, well, if you decriminalize it, they're going to think it's an open air drug market. People going to be selling it on every corner. The whole city of Atlanta going to smell like weed. One of the legislators was like, well, if the whole country goes weed crazy, which apparently they are, Georgia will be last, because they make a lot of money off the criminal justice system here.
Yes, they do.
For every person that's just getting a ticket for in a decriminalized area, somebody else going to jail in another area. So it hurts it, because when the law enforcement or the lobbying groups who are paid by law enforcement to come down there, it furthers their campaign for additional policing. So the police will be like, well, y'all trying to defund the police. This is why we ain't got money to crack down on this. You wonder why we finding all the kids with weed and vapes? Because they can just go buy it. We don't have the money to fight crime anymore. So it actually hurts the cause. And you and I were talking a couple of days ago, there was an incident that happened early last year in Atlanta during a high profile weekend in which a house was shot up over in near Oakland City, Mechanicsville, somewhere over in that area. And they found 100 shell casings, you know what I'm saying, in the road. So the law enforcement public information officer, or the representative, came on the news and was stating that they feel from their research, from detective work, that a lot of these crimes, these gun-related and drug-related crimes, are being committed by persons who don't really live in Atlanta. They're not really from Atlanta. But what they are doing is people coming from out of state, you know, your Alabama, your Tennessee, your Carolina, Mississippi. Everybody want to turn up in Atlanta. It's Atlanta. You know what I mean? Everybody want to be on their Snapchat saying they in the A. Well, also with the decriminalization of cannabis in Atlanta and some of the surrounding areas, it has sent a negative message to how law enforcement states the criminal entities, because they feel that because we decriminalize, Atlanta is soft on crime, predominantly drugs.
But I know that I don't know which mayor it was that actually removed the THC drug testing. Do you think that that was because of do you think that the officers may have requested this? Do you think that it's possible that the officers may have tested positive for THC? Because I don't like to use the term dirty.
Yeah. I think it could be a culmination of all of that. More than one problem, more than one issue fueled that decision. And in the case of the federal government, you remember a few years ago before the pandemic, the FBI got hacked, and they were holding the FBI ransom, these hackers. And so they were posting that the FBI needs hackers. We need the world's best hackers to hack the people that hacked us. Wow. And one of the representatives from the FBI, like their intel department or something like that, they did an interview and they were like, yeah, the reason FBI gets hacked is because we don't have the world's best hackers. The world's best hackers can't pass a drug test to get a federal contract. They smoke weed.
And you know what? And that's why workplace testing for THC needs to cease. You know what I mean? Because that not only affects everybody as far as wanting to consume cannabis products, that affects those who want to consume hemp products, which is legal, which I'm wondering, does that impede on the ADA, America Disabilities Act? Because if it's legal federally, I'm a truck driver and I want to use CBD. Why can't I say, hey, I want to use CBD and do what I'm doing? You know what I mean? I'm using CBD. No one can control how their body metabolizes, you know?
Period. So I would look at it like this. It would have to be, jurisdiction by jurisdiction, like state by state. But unfortunately, Georgia's a right to work state. And so it's going to be up to the employer. If an employer says, hey, I don't want my truck driver smoking weed because they get into a crash and they crash off a cliff and crash into a school bus full of children, I'm gonna have to pay for that. That's gonna be hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's all about liability. And unfortunately, with the way marijuana has been stigmatized nationally, federally, and locally, they're gonna always say, if anything happens, you do a drug test, oh, it's because you had weed in your system.
Mm.
One
And
of
you
my
know what? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
one of my favorite MMA fighters, Nick Diaz, shout out Diaz Army, had a fight in Japan. He was
Mm-hmm.
fighting their champion, a guy that was really good Japanese fighter. He went over there and whooped him, like beat him convincingly, choked him
Mm.
out. Ding, 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 give him the belt, the American champion. They did a drug test, post-fight drug test.
Mm-hmm.
He tested positive. They vacated his win, made it a no contest, and stripped him of the title and his purse.
Wow.
So
Sounds familiar.
yeah, it's a lot that goes into that, and that the only way to get around it is advocacy. We need employers at the Capitol. We need employers who employ large companies, 500 more
Mm-hmm.
employees, to tell people that, hey, I won't decriminalize, and they could do maybe like I think that was DC with
Mm-hmm.
the drug testing. Yeah, I think that was DC. So they can be like, well, I can't make it a law, but I can propose, hey, everybody that's hiring, don't test for marijuana.
Mm. Yeah, that
Test for
would
everything,
start.
but don't test for
Yeah.
marijuana. But it
Yeah.
start with each individual employer. So anybody who's watching this, if you're an employer, if you have one employee, 5, 50, look at what you do for a living. Look at what service you provide. If there is a way where you could, you realize you're losing quality talent because they can't pass a drug test, but outside of that, they're model, what I'm saying, they do great work. Maybe there's a way around it. But again, it's going to come down to like OSHA and, stuff like
Yeah.
that. It
Yeah.
ain't
Yeah.
safe.
But I actually remember that question now that I wanted to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is going back to a lot of people who may have gotten pulled over for cannabis or whatever. Um, THCA. Now, there are some labs that are popping up here in Georgia. I know Bright Box Lab just opened up,
Mm-hmm. Recently.
and then SJ Labs down there in Macon. And I'm not sure if it's another one that's opening up, but I do believe they are offering a special. Not only are they testing cannabis, I know we talked about this earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, do you think that this is kind of like a setup in a sense? These labs, because the GBI is so behind on testing cannabis so that they can get some more convictions?
Yeah. Because if you
Okay.
look at it right now, first of all courts are backed up. People
Mm-hmm.
still backed up from the pandemic. They were still waiting to go to court. GBI stated a while back, hey, don't send us any more green flowery substances to test and
Mm.
see if it's weed or not. Why is that? Because they got a lot of other stuff they need to be testing up there. They need to be testing stuff. They see if it's fentanyl. They've got countless rape kits from sexual assault victims that are going untested. So you mean to tell me testing to see if this person had some marijuana is more important than potentially getting a predator off the street? And so right
Mm.
now, they got other stuff, but I knew that when they started talking about that, that was going to open up an avenue for business. Because we were talking about this at the Capitol years ago, and
Mm.
we were like, hey, why don't somebody just open a lab and do all the testing for the GBI? Only contract to test, for marijuana, only test for weed. So go ahead.
I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna share this with you. Not only are they, let's see, let's find this right here. There is a test that they are, hold on, where is this? Hold on, where is it? I'm trying to see what screen this is in. Hold on. Here it is. I got it. I want to show you something, Stanley, and everybody that's out there watching. I'm gonna go ahead and put this real big, and y'all tell me what y'all see. All right, here we go. They're also giving this law enforcement cannabis training, law enforcement cannabis education course. So, yeah, that's what I was just talking about, for a police officer to determine whether or not if you're intoxicated with cannabis, $150 and up to 10 officers. And so basically $150 for a 1-hour class can make you master of, you know, make
Yeah,
you be able to identify. So that's why that's my questioning. But it's good education and training about this cannabis and the body and stuff like that. The educational training to teach you about cannabis. So my question is, how do these two go together? That's my question. It's like, are you pro cannabis? Are you for
law
the
enforcement.
yeah? Who are you for? That's my question. I don't even. I just I saw this.
Because in some of
Yeah,
these cases, some of these companies, it's almost like, are you trying to play both sides of the fence?
it's just like, man,
But
that's kind
also,
of
it, you know, I don't know. I would need to know more about that cannabis
yeah, me too.
identification class. Because if it's saying we would teach you how to visually look and tell who's high and who's not, I don't think that would hold much weight in court, because it just seems to me like some of it could potentially be anecdotal, but I don't have
Mhm.
any proof or evidence to support for or against. But I do find some of that interesting.
Yeah,
I
we
wouldn't
need to
be
look at that.
surprised to see more classes coming up, because I've watched some videos here recently, and when law enforcement pull people over, they're like, "Hey, do you have any cannabis, marijuana, hemp, or CBD products?" And say,
Yeah,
"Oh, okay." And they're like, "Hey, is this Delta 8?" So some officers are becoming educated, and a lot of times it ain't because they want to; it's because they're being forced to on the job.
mm,
Because if you bought some CBD and it's some hemp flower, and I'm an officer and I pull you over and I arrest you for that, and I take it from you, or I take it from you and let you go, technically that's theft by taking. You could persecute.
mm.
You
What
got
does
robbed.
that? Huh?
You got robbed by 12.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about the Fourth Amendment. You know what I mean? So it's a program, because I know that they have some classes that's coming up in March. They got like back-to-back classes. I was just trying to find that, but I can't pull it up right now. But they actually have a training class that's coming up at GSP. But I'm sorry, let's get back to the show. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to
Hey,
make sure
'cause,
everybody was
we could be
aware
down
that
that rabbit all night. But yeah, we're gonna stick. Like I said, we're gonna stick to the subject at hand, because, and I know for anybody
Mhm.
watching, you're asking yourself, how does all this tie into what we're doing? It ties into what we're doing because no matter what we do on the legal side, with licenses going out for us having a medical program, there is an entire black market that is robust in Atlanta, and business is booming for a lot
Yeah.
of these people. And so that's what led us to this conversation today. People want to know, what's going on, what is going on these events. I know a lot of you people follow some of these pages, some of these brands, some of these influencers, and you
I
see
do.
a lot of shade being thrown. You know what I mean? We ain't going, it's a yo rank tonight. This ain't our normal, by the book conversation. We talking about the
No.
real, and we have to understand that it's an illegal market. And
Yeah.
so anything dealing with crime, you're dealing with that type of community. And I don't care how many advocates you want to be, how many you want to, how you want to twist it. Unfortunately, if you're doing something like that, you're still dealing with the black market. And with the black market comes black mask and black bad problems.
Yeah, just got to be careful out there. And I would say more discreet in a sense, even though, I mean, just I don't know. I don't know, because like I say, I'm at this age now where I'm like, you know what? I deal with my dispensary, and also the local hemp stores at this point, because I know that I learned a lot. You taught me a lot this past Sunday about product and what to look for. And I'm just like, you know what? Give me a COA any day, you know,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Cause you never can tell, because I already have enough health issues.
And so
I don't need
going
that.
so going back to it,
Yeah.
I know you shared an article with me revolving a bust in South Fulton. When that
Oh, yeah.
when that bus went down, a lot of people reached out to me. You know what I'm saying? I had people that called me on FaceTime that were outside sitting on the sidewalk. And I'm like, what's going on? They're like, bro, we were at this party, this pop up, and the police raided it. It's all these police officers. They got everybody detained. They detained over 50 people. And when the articles came out, it was being reported that they raided an open air drug market. You know what I mean? And ain't no other way to put it. I'm an advocate too. I like to smoke myself. I love a quality product. But when y'all are doing it certain ways, you make it hot, as we say. They got it open to the public. Anybody can come on Front Street. They posting exactly what it is on social media. So there's a way and a rhyme or reason to go about it. Think of like prohibition and the speakeasy. But unfortunately, people who have never advocated or don't choose to advocate, they're the ones that's stirring up all the trouble. They're stepping on the foundation that advocates like yourself and so many others have laid to even begin to get where we are today. And with them coming in there, they're being counterproductive because law enforcement and legislators gonna be like, look, we just had another raid. Well, look on the news. We just had another shooting. They're getting shot over weed. Everybody's shooting each other over weed. They must be putting something in the weed to make them violent.
Yeah, but I'm wondering how would it be? Because I know I would prefer decriminalization because regardless, if they legalize it, it's still going to have the underground market. They're still going to have that, and people going to still go to jail.
Yeah.
So if they decriminalize it, then you'll be able to grow it. I think you can be able to grow if it's decriminalized. You know what I mean?
It's not. It has to. Whatever jurisdiction that you're in, it'll state in the statute. So some of them say, yeah, you can grow up to 12 plants. You can grow up to 24 plants, 36 plants. You know what I mean? And I'm with you on that because a lot of people, I feel that a lot, especially people like us, a lot of my Black and brown people, we like to cook our own, make our own sauce and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I feel that, while we getting some from this place or that place, I would also like to be growing my own at the house.
Yeah, I prefer a farmer's market, for food. I guess the closest thing to it. I mean, it's not like I grow at home. Not everybody gonna want to grow, but as far as like Whole Foods or something like that.
But take that model like you said a farmer's market, right? That's what these guys are doing at these events. They just not farming.
But now, how about the argument? I mean, I know I was leading somewhere with the labs and stuff like that, right? The argument would be, oh, this is THCA, as the argument. Oh, it's THCA. So basically, I'm thinking the law enforcement might have a contract with some of these testing facilities to provide that. But my thing is, how safe is their data? You know what I mean?
How reliable is the equipment?
Yeah.
Is it antiquated? Is it some old shit they used to use back in the day? Or y'all caught up the latest chromatography? Was it chromatography? Some of the different ways that they can measure this stuff and get what's in. Because they just got a decrim, unfortunately. And I know what decrim, yes, with decrim comes a gray market. That's true. I understand that. There are people that I have been in multiple states and different programs in different courses of where they are, like before legalization, after, thing of that nature. And I was in Boston, and when I went to Boston, it was a gray market. They were medical, so I couldn't go to the dispensary. So they were like kind of a gray area. And so I met some people, and they were like, "Yeah, I'm up for the Freedom Rally." And I'm like, "So I see police everywhere?" So I'm like, "How does this go?" I see people pulling out bags and stuff. So I'm like, I'm from the South. So I'm like, "What's going on?" So I asked dude, I'm like, "Hey, bro, how does this work?" Because he had some fire. He had some pink grapefruit. I was like, "Oh my God." Oh, to this day, one of the best eighths I've ever bought. It was $60. Best I've ever money spent. I would do it. If I found it right now, I'd do it again. It was from Kaya Farms. Shout out to Kaya Farms. And some of the other vendors and stuff, they were like, "Hey, we can take a donation. I'm not selling you anything. I will take a donation, but if you want to give." Some people had a t-shirt, like they'll sell hoodies or a t-shirt. A t-shirt is $60 or $50, but it includes a free eighth. There was one guy that was like, I sell sandwich bags for $100. Each sandwich bag just so happened to come with a half ounce of weed in it. And I'm sitting there. I was so nervous. Like, it's cops and shit right here. I'm on the sidewalk. So I called my buddy on FaceTime. I'm like, "Hey, man, look, I'm about to do this deal. And I need you to supervise. He was like, what the hell are you talking about? I said, look, bro, in case I get locked up, man, you see what these folks telling me. Just in case they try to lock me up, I need somebody to see. And sure enough, went down without a hitch. I was like, wow. So I see, we always going to have the black market. We always going to have the gray market. But there's also ways that we can do it safely. Because for some patients, this may be their only opportunity to have safe access to this medicine. But what people who doing these events gotta understand is we're in this together. Yeah. Nobody can serve everybody. I don't care how much weed you get. You cannot serve everybody. So there's no point in even trying. And so what's happening now with all these brands popping up, what fueled all this is, starting years ago with all the cannabis cups, the secret sesh, scene out west and up north, guys from here went out there looking for a cheaper price on flower. They went to these pop-ups. They went to these secret sessions. They went to these farmers markets. And they realized, oh, man, you mean to tell me I can just get a venue, find out all these guys who got it, bring them to my event, find everybody who's selling it, charge them $200-$300 for a vendor fee, have 25, 30 vendors every other Saturday. Plus, we selling tickets for $25, $20, whatever the case may be. They make it hand over foot, let alone if they got their own venue or they partnered with the venue. You see what I'm saying? So it's a money. It's money. And you got guys who were doing it every Sunday. And I'm not going to name anybody. We're not going to name any entities. We ain't trying to incriminate anybody. Shout out to those secret sessions from back in the day. People who, were really on the ground, from the ground up with this stuff. The old Cannabis Cup days and stuff. So these boys went out west and they come out here. It ain't hard to find weed in Atlanta. You know that. It's not hard at all. So you find out everybody who got it. You call all them like, hey, bro, I'm doing this event. You want to come set up a table at my booth, at my shit? Yeah, I want to set up a table. All right, well, shit, give me $250 vendor fee. Anybody else tell them $300. Cool. Now he got 10, 15, 20 vendors. He already made his money to cover the venue promotion. Then you charge them for tickets. They might charge artists to perform stuff, things of that nature. And some of these parties now, I'm looking at it, it's extortion. They extorting these guys. They charge these guys hundreds and hundreds of dollars to vend these events, knowing they're not gonna make it back. Now, are there some events where somebody might vend and make a killing? Yeah, that's a possibility. But I know too many of these small brands, people that sell like CBD, edibles, pre-rolls, they're just trying to get their brand out there. So they taking a chance going to some of these events. But you can't compete with this table over here with this team of guys, because these guys, they go through a box a week. And what a box is, that's 100 pounds. You know what I'm saying? These boys get a box sent to them once a week. They going through it every week. So they selling 100 pounds a week. You can't compete with them because they paying $1,000, $1,100 a pound. They selling the ounces for $150, $200, $250 in some cases, even more, if it's some pretty looking stuff. So even just think on the high end. I got some pounds that I paid, that person paid $1,600 for, $1,800 for. It's beautiful, it's flower, you know what I'm saying? They go get them some Mylars, get on Canva, make them a logo, print them some bags, get them some shirts and some hats, and they doing a pop-up. Everybody else, when they don't from, hey bro, come set a table up at mine. But what's gonna happen now is everybody got a brand, everybody got a strain, everybody got a pack. It's too much competition. I told somebody in Las Vegas, I said, Atlanta got too much weed. And they were like, what you mean? There's too much marijuana in Atlanta. It's like it's more flower that can be smoked, because a lot of people just having to sit on it because it is so much here. Most of those companies know, man, I can just send it out to Atlanta to my guy. You know what I mean? It's going to move out there. When anybody comes to Atlanta for a girls' weekend, guys' weekend, couples' weekend, they want to get some gas. Hey, bro, where the gas at? Anywhere in public, you go downtown. That's why you go other places, it's hard to find flower. It's like, in Atlanta, everybody got weed. The little guys on the scooters, the little water boys. Hey, I got the Za. So, those events, it's just becoming negative now. And it's last weekend, I just think that was the culmination to everything. And it's only going to get worse from here.
That's my concern, because listening to all that money being made, and we have that nonprofit, and with our nonprofit, man,
and just think some of these trap brands And I've bumped heads with a lot of brands. I've bumped heads with a lot of guys in this industry because I'm like, hey, bro, you don't want to support them, the advocacy efforts.
Oh
Hey,
yeah, just the advocacy. Yeah.
we going down to the Capitol. Y'all all want to support this? And I've had some guys, shout out to my true homies. You know, I'm not going to drop any names. You know who you are. Because I've had guys from the legacy market who are like, man, you know, I'm not really good at the advocacy, you know, coming and testifying and all that. But if y'all need other type of support, I'll do it. We at the Capitol testifying. We're trying to get the conditions added that year. That first year I met y'all, I had people, I told all the family and stuff, hey, man, come to the Capitol. I'm going to provide lunch. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just knew we were going to get something. And I reached out to my legacy guys. And they like, bro, I be trapping like hell. You know what I'm saying? Well, how can I support y'all? They bring in stacks of pizzas. People bringing cases of water. I done had one guy, he bought me gas cards. He bought me $600 worth of $25 gas cards. And he was like, bro, I know some of them families and patients down there, you know, they be needing stuff. I ain't trying to give them no money, but I'll buy, you know what I'm saying? If this will help the cause, just tell them to consider that my, you know, that's my advocacy effort.
That's great. Cause you know, I'm thinking too, I'm just wondering if I'm pretty sure they have folks watching these events and stuff like that, waiting to go ahead and crack down. Cause I got that video. I'm gonna go ahead and play that if it's all right. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play that. Let me find that. Hold on, because I had it right here. Here we go.
Well, we are learning more about a major drug bust in the city of South Fulton, and today CBS 46 has exclusive video of everything seized. A 3-month investigation led officers to a warehouse off Selig Drive. They found what has become the largest drug seizure in South Fulton Police Department history.
CBS 46's Ashley Thompson was where it all went down.
Dozens of people detained by police in front of an unassuming warehouse. 31 of them arrested for trafficking drugs, another 30 for criminal trespass.
It's a big win for us.
City of South Fulton police say this warehouse operated as a drug superstore. Sergeant S. McKessie was part of the team tasked with shutting it down.
An hour before they opened the doors, all of the vendors, whether it be food and or marijuana and or other illegal narcotics, will actually come in, set up their tables, set up their credit card scanners.
Almost like a flea market. After a 3-month investigation, officers busted the warehouse, confiscating 630 pounds of marijuana, 198 pounds of lean, 188 ecstasy pills, 1.5 pounds of mushrooms, a half pound of wax, and $12,000. CBS 46 got an exclusive look at the drugs seized, now at a different location as evidence. Bins and bins of all types of stuff.
These arrests signify South Fulton's commitment to reducing organized crime.
Major Tamika Pritchett says bringing down this drug operation was imperative since investigators believe the main organizer is a documented gang member.
Criminals don't see jurisdictional lines, okay? And so it's important that we dismantle and we disrupt drug interactions in the city so that we can reduce crime.
They thought they could get away with it, and that night we stopped it.
Pretty crazy, right? We are actually standing outside of the warehouse right now, and I can tell you from the road, it doesn't look very suspicious, but take a look at the door today. It is now boarded up after that major bust. And police also seized 13 guns, including one that was stolen out of Dallas, Georgia. They also impounded several cars. We are now working to get the names of all of those arrested. Live in the city of South Fulton, I'm Ashley Thompson, CBS 46 News.
All right. Well, like I say, I'm, oh my God. That's a lot.
You going to jail. You going to jail.
That's a lot. I'm looking at this and no one should go to jail for cannabis. No one should go to jail, especially because of how it became criminalized initially, how it all started. Because like if they legalize cannabis right now, we'll be in the same boat as 1937 with the Marijuana Tax Act. Basically, you're going to tax to a point which will also cause a lot of the Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment, basically, that's the reason why the Marijuana Tax Act was overturned. But it's still going to cause a lot of people to be incarcerated because they're going to still sell. You know, and it makes no sense to me at all.
And so think about this as a little bit of a contrast. I was doing some research. This is like 18 or 19. And it was out of like Colorado, the Bay Area. So areas that have an adult use, which is legalization. In some areas, like certain cities, the arrest after legalization, the arrest of brown and black men went up. So I'm like, wait a minute. How did arrests in certain parts of Colorado for weed go up after they went legal? Because you're not legally able to sell it, possess it.
Exactly.
It ain't,
Exactly.
and with legalization, that's why I'm saying vendors. If y'all watch this video, if you don't watch this video, if you just watch the clips of this, trappers, listen, y'all got to work together. Y'all have to find ways to do it the right way, safely, and legally. I understand that Georgia's a black market state. I get it. But you can't keep going it the way we're going, because there's an ugly side of this that I don't ever really talk about in my advocacy and stuff like that, because people get killed and people go to jail.
Yeah.
I've personally lost friends to this. I've had people that I personally knew that were killed over less than a pound of weed and some edibles. I've seen people who were shot in the face over an ounce. You know what I mean? Hey man, here, dude went to smell it. As the dude went to smell it, he turned, take off running, and shot back into the car. Pow! Hit the guy in the face. He like, bro, I was just selling an ounce of weed at the gas station. He's like, if he had ran off, I wasn't gonna chase him. He just shot back into the car. So with this, we are inviting, as they stated in the video, some of these people do have criminal backgrounds. And as far as them mixing and mingling with advocates, it's just a cocktail for trouble, because you have people that aren't afraid of trouble. You got people that ain't scared of jail. And then you got people in that same building that are what we call complete civilians. They ain't on no street stuff. They ain't on no gang stuff. You know what I'm saying? They just heard they could go hear some live music, maybe get them an edible or two. They just wanted to get out the house. And now you lined up on the sidewalk, you know what I'm saying, in zip ties, because they ain't got enough handcuffs for everybody. So every law that they propose to decriminalize, legalize, loosen the grip, they're coming up with more laws to tighten that grip. And these cases that you're showing us, these incidents that are happening, they're only going to support law enforcement's claims at the Capitol. That by doing this, we're inviting crime. We're inviting more shootings. Because you turn on the news like Saturday, we could go in Buckhead, 4 people shot, 3 of them dead from a weed deal gone bad. You know what I mean? It's hard as advocates for us to paint a picture of positivity when people are getting robbed and killed over it. And I'm not biased. I'm not implicitly biased. I don't choose to ignore it. We're addressing it, which is why we live tonight. And we're gonna take some of the clips out of this and create some smaller content, because we're trying to drive this message in. If y'all want more cannabis in Georgia, we got to go about it the right way. You're gonna have to work together. If you're gonna continue to do these events, you're gonna have to find a safe way to do it. You're gonna have to limit the type of people that can be there. It's a way to do it. And just to cut to the meat of the bone tonight. I don't even eat meat. There was something that happened this week in the cannabis quote unquote community that has people up in arms. It's been a lot of live videos. It's been a lot of subliminal posts. It's been a whole lot of shade thrown in people's story. There was a pop-up event that was hosted in Atlanta last weekend. I was not an attendee. I have spoken directly to people that were in attendance. These people were not even vendors. They were literally there to support somebody else's event. Didn't even know what it was. They like ugly sweater party. They like, hey, I got an ugly sweater. I smoke. I'll go to the ugly sweater party. They get to the venue, the event going on. You got all your vendors lined up. And when I say vendors, we're talking about 420 vendors, cannabis-based products. I can't say if they were hemp, CBD, THCA, but there was lots of product in the room. You just saw the video of what type of stuff would be on site. At some point, masked men stormed the building, claiming to be law enforcement. They were wearing masks, they were armed, and they had on shirts that said security.
Wow.
All the vendors were then forced to the back of the building. All people tried to escape, so they all ran to the back of the building into an adjacent room trying to hide out. And I know people can say, well, they should have did this. Who did that? When they did this? The venue had it set up to where you could not be armed. They checked everybody thoroughly. They had it to where you couldn't hire your own security. You couldn't bring your own security. So you had to use their security. So they got you unarmed with their security behind closed doors. You're in trouble. So the people went back into the room panicking. People scared they going to jail. Attendees are panicking. They don't know what's going on. We came to an ugly sweater place to get the CBD cream. The ugly sweater party is some cream for my wife, or whoever the case may be. And while they're in the room, they were kind of figuring out, like, hey, why are we hiding back here? If that is the police, they gonna check the whole building. You know what I mean? So they looking out the front. You can see out of the window. They see people running out with trash bags. Finally, they're like, you know what? Let's come out of this room. They come out. They go back into the event space. And the whole place was lined up with vendors. Every single table was wiped out. They took trash bags, bagged up everybody's everything. Time to go. Over the shoulder like Santa Claus out the front door. Every vendor lost everything.
Oh my God.
People were terrified. People feared for their lives. There were people who, were like, oh, if that's the police, I'm about to lose my job. Oh, I got kids at the house. I just came to get me some Christmas edibles for myself.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of shade being thrown amongst other party promoters. A lot of people pointing fingers. Man, point the finger in the mirror. Because it's everybody's fault.
I can agree with that.
The people who are coming in doing these pop-ups, doing these events, they are stepping on the backs of the advocacy that we've done for years. And I know to them it's all about money, but this is so much bigger than money for me, so much bigger than money for you, because we know that advocacy doesn't pay. It does. No, it doesn't, y'all. When we doing all this advocating, having meetings, drives, and events, we don't get paid. We're doing this for free.
You don't get paid, and you're paying out more money because I'm thinking about entity fees, website, parking down at the Capitol, $15 a day. I say, support and advocate, adopt the people out there who want cannabis reform. Support and advocate. I'm not just say support, just support. I know that's probably going to be something we're going to start, but like I say, if you know that somebody's going out, you ain't even got to make it public. If you're just trying to, because like I said, I get a lot of inboxes from people who really just don't want to come out the closet or can't because of their job, but they want to support the cause. You can donate anonymously, that kind of thing, because it's like it's gas cards.
I told you, that's what one of my guys gave. He gave $25 Shell gas cards. And he was like, they already paid for it. The money's already loaded on them. Because there were some mothers down there with children. So you've met some of these mothers with special needs children, and they got wheelchairs. There are people that have to arrange transportation. Everybody, I know when you think about yourself, everybody's not able to just get up and go. There are people that have to arrange it. There are people that have to set their life up to be able to do that. So for all you trappers, I ain't mad at you. One thing about it, everybody's had a little experience doing something here or there. And I'm not telling nobody to shut down traps or anything, but I'm telling you there's a way to go about it. And I'm telling you there's a way to help our cause, and there's a way to hurt our cause. And unfortunately, the way you're going about it is hurting our cause, because all you're doing is fueling the anti-establishment, which is law enforcement. We're providing fuel to their fire. You saw the video. They're looking for this. And so when they get their grants and they get their money, it makes a big difference, because they can say, hey, we raided X amount of marijuana parties last year. We confiscated X amount of pounds, this many guns, this much cash, this many cars. All the AR-15s that y'all gave us. I love weapons. I love my guns. I'm a veteran. All the weapons that they use, all the flashlights, if they use night vision, flashbangs, the vehicles, helicopters, they're going to write that in that incident report. We use this many man hours. We use this much equipment. So guess what? When they're reapplying for that budget, for new equipment, for drug surveillance, for new binocular shit to tap y'all phones, they're going to get it.
Yeah.
So if you guys, we watch this video, like I said, I'm not going to call out any particular brands. I'm not even that type of guy. I do not want to incriminate anyone with this video. Nothing that's said tonight is to throw shade at anybody. It is not to belittle any brand. It is just to shine light on a dark spot that unfortunately we can't turn a blind eye to. Because what happened Saturday in Atlanta could have very well led to loss of life. It could have very well, it could have, I just think of so many ways that could have turned out bad. People posing as law enforcement at that type of event. And so in
Mhm.
response to that, I've seen people, posting online, hey, well, if you're doing this type of event, hit me up because I got the right type of security for you. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
it's just, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, that's what that was. I was trying to figure out exactly what was going on. I saw it on my timeline. And it's just like, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm one of the ones that want to just go to an event and enjoy myself. I guess I'm older, going out and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
hearing that is very scary. That's scary. And you have patients that finally feel good and well enough to go out. But like you said, the advocacy behind trying to push forward, decriminalization or legalization is very important.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm just not talking about them. Hey, I want to support everyone. I mean, because I know I want to boost the algorithms for the name Cannabis. That's why you may see Herbal Trucker liking everybody's post and this and that. I'm liking it to boost the algorithms, but I'm gonna probably have to wonder,
You're
should
just gonna have to
I?
feel. You're just gonna have to start vetting brands more. So for
Yeah.
people who are now getting into this space, say, hey, well, I only want to allow legal products at my event. No hemp, Delta 8, CBD.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to look at these brands. So when these brands DM you, go to their page. Is it a professional page, or is it education? Is it advocacy? Is it just
Mm-hmm.
branding, or is it them reaching in a bunch of turkey bags full of weed, showing you they Zaza?
Oh yeah,
Is it
and
is it them pouring prescription cough syrup? You know what I'm saying? Letting you see how it pours and let you know they got the real pour up.
oh
Is it
wow.
when you watch their story? Is it them posting bags and jars of Xanax, jars of fake Percocets? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you know what? That makes me think too. Like, you brought this up the other day. It's like, if they are weighing up the cannabis and they're selling other excuse me, I don't consider cannabis as illicit drug. I don't. I think that's a plant.
Yep.
Everybody should have it, that kind of thing. But if they're gonna have Percocet, other things, you got to think about someone who might have an opioid addiction and may have chopped that up, or on the same scale, weighing it up. I don't even know if do they chop up the opioids or whatever before they sell it.
It
Anyway,
comes. They press it in a pill form to make fake Percocets. They got
and if
fake.
they weigh it up, it might get the residual on the weed.
Mate, that shit on there. Because I mean, just look at it like this right here. For this is for instructional purposes only, y'all. This is not a scale. I do not have any drugs on this, okay? This is my digital scale. Oh, what Yolanda said, hey, I need some flour. I need 7 grams of flour, for my glaucoma. I put the flour on there, check the scale, boom, bag it up. Here you go. The next person says, hey, what you need? At one of these events, we'll just say, hey, I need some mushrooms. All right, how much you need? Give me a 3-5, my boy. They whip the 3-5 of mushrooms. Bag it up. Here you go. Next person, like, hey man, I need some Molly. How much you
Mm.
need? Shit, like 2 G's. They weigh the Molly out. Scrape it off into the little container. Here you go. Next person, like, hey bro, let me get some of that weed she got. That it might, it's still residual Molly on there. They might take that scale and go,
That
if
ain't
you're doing that with,
sanitizing.
hell nah, you do that with fentanyl, you're gonna kill somebody.
And that's scary. And that's why getting trained with the Narcan and stuff like that, that's great that you're a trainer. And if you
Don't
are, and
worry,
shout out
we're
to
gonna
Stephen George.
we're gonna do
And
some events with y'all this year.
yeah,
I'm gonna set it up and have a sidebar conversation with you.
cool.
Steven's gonna give me with some resources to where, ladies and gentlemen, come to this event. It ain't gonna be free. All we want you to pay is attention. We're gonna
Mm,
educate you on the Georgia 911 amnesty law, but we're also
mhm.
gonna give you some Narcan and show you how to use it and send you home with some. You can say here, you can sit here all day and say, I don't smoke, I don't pop pills, I don't do none of that. Somebody does. And you
Yeah,
never know what people be done popped. You just know your homeboy on the sofa, you can't wake him up.
yeah. And
So
you
think
never
outside
know.
yourself and stop being so selfish, because it ain't all about you. You know for a fact I carry Narcan everywhere I go. I don't
Yeah,
even use opioids. I
yeah,
legit
me
don't.
too.
Yeah, I don't have any opioids. I be having all type of stuff in the VA. So again, we're going to definitely take some of the cuts of this video, make us some short videos, because we got to drive this message. And for everyone that's watching this, make sure you follow Georgia Medical Cannabis Society. Make sure you're following the Herbal Trucker. Make sure you're following the Cannashame Network, because the only way that we're going to be able to continue our advocacy and really expand our advocacy is with your support. Whether it's by clicking like, whether it's by sharing, leaving a comment, or even making a donation. We cannot continue our advocacy without support. I work with I sit up with the Georgia Medical Cannabis Society. I'm the Director of Veterans Outreach. I work with Minorities for Medical Marijuana. And for people who've known me and followed this work for a while, you notice that I work with nonprofits. And I tell people, these don't come with salaries and stuff, but I believe in organizations that are doing the work. And big shout out to the ladies from Georgia Medical Cannabis Society for continuing to do the work. But not only that, but to have a platform like this one to where we can actually come on, we can tell the stories, we can tell people what's going on. Because I think some of the content that might be in this video tonight might potentially keep somebody out of jail.
I hope so, because like I say, I'm gonna post some of these slides and stuff like that. But I think we done hit the hour mark. I'm gonna go ahead and let me go ahead and get ready to close this thing on out over here. Let's see what we got right here. Let's see.
Oh,
okay, here we go. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. All right, we got the Tarps and Tents Drive, and that right there is a collaboration or organized by Saha CBD and the Georgia Medical Cannabis Society. So yeah, we got that coming up. You can actually scrolling down at the bottom of the screen. And also, I wanted to give a shout out to one of the organizers, Bridget.
Hey, shout out.
Yeah, Bridget, yes. Yeah, because she actually has a pop-up. Y'all, look.
Hold up, what we got here?
Although it's not cannabis, it's not a cannabis event. Like I say, y'all get on out there and support. I'm a pull that down right here. So y'all can get a good view of this.
Where's it going to be at?
It's going to be at Westview Corner Grocery Store. And it's actually right here at the bottom. At the bottom, I got it scrolling down. I've been having it scrolling down at the bottom. So if y'all want to get on out there, make sure y'all go out there and support. And also, what do we have here? This Sunday coming up, we have the Cannashame podcast. And we're going to have our 2023 recap. So y'all make sure y'all, and next week, I got a special guest, Chelsea Brianne, that's going to be on with me next week. And y'all make sure y'all tune in for that one right there. But yeah, Stanley, let me know what you got coming up next.
So we've got closing out the year. It's been a very successful year for a lot of us. And I think that leaving 2023, we've got a little bit additional focus and intent going to 2024. Because for the last few years, a lot has been up in the air. So we're coming back next month to Sow the Land, our monthly webinar. The first episode is going to feature Miss Monique Robinson, who has a cultivation facility in Oklahoma. Be on the lookout for the public events, our public education advocacy events, Minorities for Medical Marijuana, the Cannimedic. Hope to have Georgia Medical Cannabis Society. And be on the lookout for more events. We got dating event coming up. We're bringing back Cannabis. I got a couple events that we're going to announce soon. You'll see the flyers soon. They're going to be great. And if you're having events, if you're having festivals, carnivals, whatever you're doing, reach out to the advocate. Let us know if there's ways that I can support, because we are bringing back our annual symposium this summer. We are narrowing down the city. It's going to be in Georgia. It's going to be in Atlanta or Augusta. And so just stay tuned. And the Cannimedic will officially be launching his patient recommendation program. We've partnered with some great teams, and we're going to help people get their cards. So the state of Georgia, if you wonder why we don't have more dispensaries, we don't have enough patients. So please follow the Cannimedic. I appreciate it. But not just me. Make sure you follow the Georgia Medical Cannabis Society. Make sure you follow the Herbal Trucker. Make sure you follow the King Podcast. Share it, click, like, subscribe. But most important, take a message from Yolanda and her team provide a plethora of great info, very educational, and it's funny. It's witty, but people can say what they want. But one thing we're going to continue to do, we're going to continue to advocate, we're going to continue to work hard, help those in need, and above all, we're going to continue to hand the shame in 2024.
Sounds good. That was a great closeout right there. Thank y'all again for joining us today. And I'm the Urban Trucker, where you can keep trucking along and breaking the stigma. One conversation at a time. Stay curious, stay engaged, and remember, canning the shame isn't just a tagline, it's our mission. Good night. And those, y'all keep vibing. And you already know I still got to find the closeout video, but we about to get it. Here we go.